Hi there, it's Gordon at Kaizen Active, and this presentation is to help you break through weight loss plateaus. So let's have a look. Does weight loss feel a bit like this? Is it like pushing a boulder up a hill? Are you exhausted? Are you trying really hard? Are you exercising a lot more than you ever have? Are you eating less and being really tight on your nutrition, and yet are you getting nowhere? If that sounds like you, then you may well have a plateau. But how do we know if it's definitely a plateau? So the first thing I would say is, are you sure that nothing is changing? So are you still doing what you were always doing, and all of a sudden you're not getting any results? The scales can almost jam a little bit. So for example, if you've got slow weight loss but you're also getting some muscle gain, it'll look like a plateau, but it's actually progress, because you're getting leaner, and that's what you want to do. You want to lose body fat, you don't want to lose weight. So another way of putting that is weight loss plus a little muscle gain. You'll see your size shrink, but the scales can stay the same, and in some way your weight could even go up, or in some cases rather, your weight could even go up. So is it this? Could it be that? Are you measuring around kind of areas that kind of you've got this extra body fat to make sure that you are actually plateaued? Because what you don't want to do is you don't want to fix a problem that you don't actually have. Alright, but let's assume that you have got a plateau. Then what I think where you should start, if you like, is think, what are you doing differently to the plan that you've been given? So you should be following some kind of plan. I'm going to kind of have a look at one in a couple of slides time. So from a self-assessment point of view, if you don't want us to fix it, and you want to go in and kind of see yourself, then look and see how what you're doing compares to what you've been asked to do, what your plan is. And then if you still can't work it out, then come to us and get help from your coaches. Okay, so why do plateaus occur? Well, there can be a variety of reasons for them. A plateau is in essence when you're not moving, so therefore you might not be doing enough exercise. You might be eating too much. In addition to that, you might have been doing something for too long. Your body changes when it gets a stimulus that it can't handle, but once it starts to handle the stimulus, once it starts to handle the exercise or kind of a lower level of calories, and it adapts, and you need to kind of change things up a bit. It might be that you're doing too much exercise. So if you've got too much of something going on, then again, the body can just shut down and say, no, I'm not going to kind of lose any more body fat. I've been losing it for far too long, and it starts to just slow systems down and really hang on to body fat. Same thing goes for if you're not eating enough. You get away with some form of calorie deficit, but too much of a calorie deficit, and the body can just go, no. And you then are kind of tired, depressed, lethargic, and not losing any weight. You often then think, what's the point? And you go back to your old habits and put on the weight you lost and then some, which is obviously what we want to avoid. The other thing is, it can be a combination of the above. And a true plateau, or one of the ones, kind of one of the hardest ones, if you like, that kind of people really seem to resist mentally that they're doing it, is when you exercise too much and you don't eat enough. And you would think at that, well, surely I can't do too much exercise and not eat enough. Surely the weight would fall off us or fall off me. But actually, this is the one that we're going to have a look at for now. All right, let's have a look and see. Right, here's our individual and their food plan. So let's just look at what they've achieved so far. Weight loss achieved 22 pounds in between 6 and 7 weeks. So that's loads of weight loss, and most of that being body fat. So that's the first thing that can send signals to say, is it actually a plateau? They've done so well for so long, and the body just goes, this is too fast. If I keep losing weight at this rate, I'm going to die. There's going to be nothing. So this can send signals to the body to say, you're doing too much. This is an example of too much weight loss over too short a period of time, and the body just goes, no. So what we've got for this individual, if you like, is we've got a plan of what they should be doing on an exercise day and what they should be doing on a non-exercise day. We've got calorie targets that we've set them, which, if they adhere to them, should avoid plateaus. not only have they got calorie targets, but they've got what we call macronutrient targets, so that their body's requirements are being met. We give them a certain amount of carbohydrates on an exercise day, and we give them a higher amount of carbohydrates on, certain amount of carbohydrates on a non-exercise day, and a higher amount on an exercise day. And the higher amount relates to how much exercise they do. So this was just an example, but it will change. If they do more exercise, they eat more carbohydrates. They've also got a recommendation for protein, because as they're losing weight and exercising hard, they want to preserve their muscle tissue. So we run some equations that tell us, for that person's height and weight, what the minimum amounts of protein they should be eating, and that's another target for them to hit. And then we make up the difference from the kind of the amount of calories that we want in carbohydrates and the amount of calories we want in protein. We make up the difference in fat kind of content, or consumption of fat. So this person needs 2,800 calories to stay the same. Let's look and see what they've done over the last 6 days. So this is a rest day. They should be eating on a rest day 1,940. Remember, that's nearly it's not quite, but they need 2,800 to stay the same. So they are literally 1,000 calories short from staying the same, but they're a little bit in deficit from what we've asked for. Their percentages aren't bad, 45, 24, 31. We're looking for somewhere in the region of 40, 30, 30-ish. But yeah, absolutely, that's okay. In terms of percentages, it's not perfect, but it's okay. But they are a little bit low in calorie consumption. That's not awful. 100 calories below target is not awful. But if we persist and look at the next day, then we've got an exercise day. The percentages look good. That's all fine. But when we look at their target for the day, they should have eaten 2,390 calories. They needed 1,002, or rather they ate 1,299. So they were nearly 1,100 calories short. Now bear in mind that we already had them nearly 1,000 calories short, and now they're another 1,000 calories short. So 2,000 calories short in a day, the body just really doesn't like it. It's just too much. Let's have a look and see next day. Next day we've got it's another exercise day. 35% of their calories coming in from carbohydrates. That's nowhere near enough. You've got to be at 55% or so, sometimes a little bit more. They're also in deficit, which means what they should have had is 55% of their calories coming from carbohydrates of this amount of 2,240. I'm not sure what that is off the top of my head, but if we said it was 50, they should have had about 1,100 calories coming from carbs. They've only consumed 1,500 from carbs, of which 35%, so about 500 was, so they're way short. They're about 600 calories short in carbohydrates. They're not giving their body what it needs to fuel exercise, and it's creating a real problem. So you've got to eat more carbs on exercise days in general. But again, a chunky deficit. This day, Tuesday, looks okay actually. They're a couple of 100 calories over. Probably feeling a little bit hungry from the day before, chances are. A bit low in carbohydrates again. And we spoke about that yesterday and the kind of and the day before. So too low on carbs. Definitely got to get the carbs up. Where would I start? Eat more fruit, eat more pasta, eat more potatoes, eat more rice, eat more bread. Could eat more veg. They're not doing badly for veg, but they could definitely eat more veg. I'd probably put veg in a little bit earlier, but they need more calories, so get more, and more carbs in particular. All right, this is an exercise day. Too low for carbohydrates, too low for calories consumed, and it's really just it's not getting the desired outcome. Last day, a little bit better in terms of percentages, but they're just way too low again. 1,300 calories consumed, or nearly 1,400, against what should have been 2,115. So too much of a deficit for too long, too much weight loss for too long, and what you've got is no weight loss, frustration, and really a whole load of effort for not any real outcome. So with all that said, how do we fix it? It's pretty straightforward. we need to reduce either the exercise stress, and because exercise is a stress to the body, it's a good stress typically, but too much of it combined with other stresses is not so good, and too much exercise combined with not enough nutrition in is seen as a serious stress to the body, and therefore you're going to plateau. So what this person needs to do is reduce the number of times they train, reduce the amount of time that they may be trained for, or reduce the intensity of their training, or a combination of. Ideally, given that they've been dieting and training for 6 or 7 weeks, I would say they need a weekend off. They need to eat probably a normal number of calories for them, nearly 3,000 calories for a couple of days, not do any exercise, and that should be sufficient to reset everything. That's what I was talking about here, reduce the diet stress and eat more calories. So I've basically given you, yes, best solution, combination of both of the above. So over 6 or 7 weeks, a couple of days of what we might term a refeed will absolutely take care of it, or it should absolutely take care of it. If it doesn't, then we just need to up this person's calories. This is the thing that's going really wrong. They're not exercising excessively, but the combination of exercise with really low kind of amounts of calories going in, relative to the fact that this is a male that is kind of, I don't know, about 5'10". They're not little. They're kind of like, they're a pretty kind of strong, if you like, kind of looking guy. They need more. You can't kind of, you can't basically have too few calories and expect your body to just go, yeah, that's going to be fine. So, take home messages. There's definitely a sweet spot for the amount of calories you need to eat for sustained weight loss. I always think of it as Goldilocks and the Three Bears. Not too hot, not too cold, just right. Not too hard, not too soft, just right. So find that sweet spot. Remember that exercise is a stress to the body, that calorie restrictions are stress to the body, and too much stress and the body will take over to preserve life. To avoid too much stress, follow your plan. And basically, to get out of this particular scenario, reduce the stress for long enough for the body to recover, and weight loss will start again. People, it is as simple as that. I hope you found this useful. If you've got any questions, then just post them, let me know, and I will be happy to help. Have a great day. Bye-bye.